So guys, this was the moment a United States representative told the Tinubu's government, speaking to Ribadu, to protect Christians in Nigeria. The question remains, do you think these people are really listening? See what happened in southern Kaduna. Now, let me read this headline. It says, breaking news. The United States today urged Nigerian government to intensify efforts towards protecting Christian communities in the country. Now, they went to southern Kaduna, picked 100 and something persons into the bush, went to Plateau State, bite some of them. Bite them. And all over the places, they've been all over, even in Katsina, in Zamfara, they've been all over the places, especially where you have Christians in the north, and then when you have moderate Christians, these people have been all over the places. Now, this same Ribadu is the one that is being called out because he's the NSA, the National Security Advisor to the Tinubu's government. He's like the one that decides what is happening and what is not happening. Now, Musa, who is the newly defense minister, they don't cooperate with Musa. You can see where the problem is. He's a Fulani. I don't know if...
Welcome to Naija Voice TV. This is a platform where we give voice to the unheard. What mainstream medias cannot report is what Naija Voice TV is actually reporting in Nigeria, beyond Africa, and the world entirely, for the global populace to be aware of what is happening, especially in Nigeria, the insecurity in Nigeria, the corrupt politicians and their antics in Nigeria. I know so many people will not be happy with us, yes, but we are ready to televise the truth. We stand for the truth. Now, I'm going to fill you in, bring you up to speed. Watch this video properly. The US government have warned Nigeria, have warned Tinubu and Ribadu. Nuru Ribadu is the NSA chairman of Nigeria. When it comes to national security, he is their chairman. He decides everything that has to do with security pass through his table. Now, the truth of the matter is that the Fulanis, Nuru Ribadu is the one recruiting them to be a community police. Then how is this going to work? The Fulanis have been the one destroying our farm crops, buying our women and co, causing mayhem in Nigeria, the northern region, and other communities in the country. I want you to watch this full video, how the President of America warned Nuri Ribadu and Tinubu to protect Christians in Nigeria and others. The truth of the matter is that Donald Trump has called for urgent attention to clear these bandits and kidnappers and terrorists in Nigeria. But the truth of the matter is that corrupt politicians in this country, I fear that they are going to sabotage his efforts. Well, let us engage on the comment section. What do you think about this new act? Donald Trump has come to help us, but the truth of the matter is that our politicians are too corrupt. Watch this full video, how Donald Trump warned Nuri Ribadu to protect Christians and Tinubu. Now, this election is coming, 2027. Every politicians are running ether-scatter for the incumbent power. Watch the full video. Drop your thoughts on the comment section. Our own is to react on trending issues. Our own is to escalate the debate. Our own is to give voice to the unheard. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay with us for latest updates. Thank you. Everything said on this video has nothing to do with the management of Naija Voice TV, but their own personal political analysis. So stay with us for latest updates. Watch the full video.
Welcome to Naija Voice Television, where we give voice to the unheard.
So guys, this was the moment a United States representative told the Tinubu's government, speaking to Ribadu, to protect Christians in Nigeria. The question remains, do you think these people are really listening? See what happened in southern Kaduna. Now, let me read this headline. It says, breaking news. The United States today urged Nigerian government to intensify efforts towards protecting Christian communities in the country. Now, they went to southern Kaduna, picked 100 and something persons into the bush, went to Plateau State, bite some of them. Bite them. And all over the places, they've been all over, even in Katsina, in Zamfara, they've been all over the places, especially where you have Christians in the north, and then when you have moderate Christians, these people have been all over the places. Now, this same Ribadu is the one that is being called out because he's the NSA, the National Security Advisor to the Tinubu's government. He's like the one that decides what is happening and what is not happening. Now, Musa, who is the newly defense minister, they don't cooperate with Musa. You can see where the problem is. He's a Fulani. I don't know if Musa is a Fulani. And the thing is, the synergy is not being built because Musa, when he came in, actually wanted to go out against these terrorists. And guess what? One of the northern leaders came out to dare to Musa not to kill the Fulanis. And since then, Nigerians have seen the morale of Musa going down, as in, it's not the way it was when he came in. He wanted to dare these terrorists, but he was warned not to buy them. Now, when you have somebody like Ribadu, who is the one setting up community police, using the Fulanis to send them to different states, if you have such a person who security is, anything that has to do with security is on his table, how do you think that this fight is going to end well? Now, this person reacted here and said, funny enough, the federal government delegates are the same Fulani people. They are the ones discussing Christian protection before the American government. This is the hypocrisy of the Tinubu government. So, guys, people are wondering how the same Fulanis who are the ones killing people will still be the ones, that are being asked to protect the Christians they are killing. So, when you look at it, it makes no sense. I mean, Ribadu, who is the one even setting up Fulanis as vigilantes that he wants to spread across the country, he's now the one being asked to protect Christians. It's not going to work. I'm just wondering how under Tinubu, the Fulanis must be the one to handle security. Is it like it is a must that the Fulanis, because if not for Musa that came in, the defense minister was a Fulani man, the defense minister for state, a Fulani man, that's Metawale, and then the NSA is the Fulani man. These are the key, the full body that protects Nigeria. When you talk about security, they are all Fulani. So sometimes I wonder, must it be a Fulani man? Can't a Yoruba man or even an Igbo man or another tribe, must it be a Fulani man that must oversee the security of Nigeria? That is the question. And now the US is asking them to ensure that they protect Nigerian lives. So in case you didn't get the headline, see what the US told the Tinubu's government, or told Ribadu. Breaking news: the United States today urged the Nigerian government to intensify efforts towards protecting Christian communities in the country. Nigerians are wondering, is it a Fulani man that will protect the Christians that are being killed by Fulani terrorists? So that's the question. Now let me allow you to take a look at this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.
U.S. Undersecretary for Political Affairs Alison Hooker asked the Nigerian government to ensure stronger and sustained action to protect Christians and other vulnerable communities from the religious extremists and other terrorists. This is amid the recent abduction of Christian worshippers in Kaduna State. Well, we have our Arise correspondent, or rather, we were going to take a report from our Arise correspondent, but we're going to delve into this discussion with Arise news analyst Mr. Dayo Shobwale, and he'll be reviewing this latest charge by the U.S. to Nigeria to do more to protect Christians. Good afternoon, Mr. Shobwale. Many thanks for being here.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. It's great to have you. Now, we've seen some commendation about progress that's been made, some relative success by this administration in handling insecurity. But unfortunately, when we see reports from the likes of Southern Kaduna Christian Leaders Association, they're noting that this abduction that happened a few days ago is the first time in the region's history that members of 3 different Christian denominations were abducted in a single day during church service. So when you pair that with the claims of Christian genocide and looking at this history that they're recording, what's your take on that?
Well, it's difficult now to defend the statement that there's no genocide. And those people are the receiving end of it. So it's the first time 3 different churches the same Sunday. And they've asked their people to fast. And the fast will end next Sunday. Hopefully these bandits and terrorists will not attack them the next Sunday. You see, you can always speculate. But the visit of this Undersecretary of State is not a meeting with Nigeria. It's part of a tour of the Middle East and Africa. So this is a stop in Nigeria. And she has spoken very diplomatically that we should do more. You get me? They have the facts. They have the facts. And the Middle Belt people and the Kaduna Christians, they are human beings. They know what they are saying. Happily, our NSA director admitted that these attacks are an assault on the government of the day. The government should resist such assault and resist it powerfully. But I can assure you, the Americans have their information. They can play diplomacy, but they know what to do Because Trump has said there is a cultural war between Christianity and Islam, and it should end. It should end. First, beginning with whatever happens in Iran and any other places where they are killing Christians, including Nigeria. Let's leave it at that.
Well, sir, Mr. Shibwali, now let's talk about the methods that are being used by the security forces in handling, I'm not going to say, I would have said kinetic, non-kinetic, but you will come at me.
Your favorite.
My favorite. Yeah, so let's leave it at that. Let's talk about the methods being used. We understand that the condition that's being submitted by these terrorists is that they're asking for the 17 motorbikes that are valued at over 28 million naira thereabout to be returned, which were seized during military raids, as for them to release these abductees. Now, when it comes to law of power, we are told to, or the art of war, when Lao Tzu, we always read they were meant to crush our enemies because they give them time to regroup. Isn't it obvious to the operatives to an extent, and to you, or what do you think about the methods that are still being used in the sense that you're seizing their materials, things that they're using to carry out these atrocities, but they're not crushing the enemy like you often say they should? What is the resistance about? Why are they resisting taking that decision?
It means whatever strategy or effort you have been using against them have not been productive, and they are not deterred. They are not deterred. You see, violence is the language they will understand. Violence was the language Trump used when they bombed Sokoto, and they got the message. You see the insolence of the request. You have killed people. Now you have come back to the authorities to restore your motorcycles. They are showing that they have some might against government. It should not be like that. The Obesian theory says might is right. Might is right when you use power legitimately to subdue your opponent, not when you, fighting against the state, seizes people from the state and you are requesting the return of your commercial articles. It is an insult to the integrity, to the professionalism, and to the strength of the Nigerian state. It should be disregarded, and they should just hunt them down. And like I'm telling you, we should make sure, because they seem to have information. Why is it that it's on the eve of the visit of the American Undersecretary of State that these church attacks happened? Why is it? There are some people in and out of our system monitoring and trying to create the impression that Christians are being killed in Nigeria. And it is there. You see, you cannot, how do you defend a situation like that? 3 churches one day, and then people requesting that before they can return them, they should return motorcycles. It is not done. And the issue of terrorism finance, you can see what is going on all fronts. The cases with EFCC, the governor of Bauchi, the former attorney general, the finance commissioner. There are people in high places who have money and influence who are supporting this, and this government should take them on. It's not a matter of diplomacy. The American lady has come and done her own bit. She's going to the Middle East thereafter. But the people who take decisions in Washington, that is headset, the Secretary of Defense, and Trump, and his Vice President. And they are ardent Christians. They are ardent Christians who, if care is not taken, will take on Nigeria on this issue.
Mr. Shibwali, you just mentioned the different people that are being investigated and might be funding or financing terrorism, and still we've not seen the kind of outcomes that will show that the fight against quelling insecurity is really being taken on the way it should.
It is being taken on, but we are not successful at it.
Yes,
that's apparent.
Exactly. And what ADC is accusing, for instance, now based on what happened a few days ago, ADC is accusing Kaduna government and the police of cover-up, and the National Publicity Secretary is describing the denial as part of APC government preoccupation. These are his words: preoccupation with hiding the truth to look good.
Now, are you not happy with that?
No, that's a premise. So I'm saying so when you pair this denial and then you look at also the lobbying, the amount that was paid to the lobbying agency to spin the narrative about efforts being made by the government, are you concerned that this administration is more concerned about optics, the look of doing what it should be doing as opposed to doing what it should be doing?
Yes. You see, what government is doing is not a cover-up. You get me? It cannot admit failure of insecurity. And people have been saying the opposition is weaponizing insecurity against government. The opposition is in a position to say that and to bring evidence to support that claim. As for the government lobbying, I've said it here before, that you will send lobbyists to Washington, you get me, before they enact law and appropriate us as they have done, as nations that they feel concerned about, and they have done it. They have done it. So government is trying, you see, cannot fold its hand. It must do some public relations. Government can never, ever admit failure, or else it will be treated like Somalia. You heard what Trump was saying about Somalia, what is happening in Mississippi, Minnesota. And you know, last Sunday too, just like what they are doing for Russia, the protesters intervened in the church. So the way I see it is a cultural war. It's a cultural war, and it's a clash of civilizations. But we should not get immersed in it for inadequacy or inefficiency on our part to protect the Christian population, which they are categorized as vulnerable. Government should act against that.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much, rising journalist Mr. Daishobuali. See, we didn't fight today.
Of course.
We didn't fight today. We will fight on Monday.
Many Nigerians were relieved when the United States struck terrorist enclaves in Sokoto State last December with the hope that the security partnership would improve Nigeria's fight against insurgency. However, recent events indicate that the fight is far from over. The United States has called on the federal governments to strengthen protection for Christian communities following the abduction of 177 worshippers in Kaduna State. The National Security Advisor, Ribadu, said the federal government is intensifying security operations in the affected areas to secure the citizens. All right, BKO, let's begin this way. I mean, what do you think prompted the U.S. reaction, and also what was the core message of the U.S. call?
You know, to the Americans, any attack on a Christian community, on a Christian gathering by bandits must be in continuation of what they see as an existential threat to Christians in Nigeria. I read some of the comments, and sometimes I just ask myself that, is it not the same country, or are they talking about a different country? To them, these attacks are simply acts of terrorism meant to stop Christians from practicing their faith. But banditry is not terrorism. Banditry, as it is practiced in our country, in the far north, is designed simply to make money off the victims. I've talked about a distinction between a terrorist group and a bandit group. The difference is clear. But to the Americans, these attacks are meant to stop Christians from practicing their faith. They are meant to exterminate Christians. This is the way they see it. And coming not long after we were declared a country of concern, and the president of the U.S. declared that there is a desire on the part of some people to wipe out Christians from Nigeria. And according to them, there is even official support for the for what they see as an attempt to take out Christians from our country. Now, I've said it again and again. Christianity and Islam is practiced in our country almost equally. Neither of these religions has an overwhelming majority of adherents, not in this country. The Nigerian South is dominated by Christians, while the North is dominated by Muslims. As we have Muslims in a few states of the South in good numbers, we also have Christians in good numbers in some states of the North, states like Gombe, Taraba, Kwara, Benue, Plateau. They are all part of the 19 states of the northern Nigeria, and they have tremendous Christian population. So no religion can wipe out the other in our country. Let's put that one aside. No religion, whether it is Islam or Christianity, can wipe.
Hello, BK, are you there? Okay. All right. While we're waiting for us to reestablish connection with BKO, we have Olayinka Oyegbile joining us. Olayinka, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Right here
it's a pleasure to be here.
So we're looking at the situation in the far north and also the U.S. reaction and the core message. But since this incident happened, 177 Christians, how will you analyze, the response of the government so far since this incident happened?
Well, so far, so good. But one of the first things I would like to mention was that when it was first reported, I watched it live on news where the governor, the police commissioner, and the local government chairman said there was nothing like that. What I would have expected them to do that day was, we have heard and we have not confirmed. But categorically, the three of them said there was nothing like that. And all these things, the governor of Kaduna State has been doing very well, but in this case, he dropped the ball entirely. He should have said, we have heard about it, or we have not heard. But he categorically, the three of them with the local government chairman and the police commissioner denied that it never happened. But be that as it may, with the U.S. reaction,
yes,
I think for now, what the federal government needs to do that is very, very important and crucial. Look, in all these cases, when things happen like this, you sit down and ask yourself, what is going on? There are some people, one, in or outside Nigeria, who wants trouble to break out in Nigeria. So when Trump said Christians are being killed, you saw some people who are happy that, yes, Trump is, I'm sorry to say, is not my model of a Christian, if you want to really come to that. But let's leave that aside. When Trump said that, we should also think that even inside or outside Nigeria, there are those who were diametrically opposed to the Muslim ticket, either in APC itself or outside APC.
Okay.
So the government itself must wake up. There might be some fifth columnist inside.
Some black legs.
Of course, recently it has been happening, and newspapers, and there have been speculations that the Vice President Kashim Shettima might be dropped, and they have been throwing out some Christian names and all that. Either some interested party inside the ruling party itself. So the government at the federal level must also take extra care.
So if I get you well, all
Yes.
of these attacks could be politically motivated.
I may be wrong, but you see, in all these things, you must also think ahead of
Reading between the lines.
exactly. You must read between, because I am very, very sure if they have not thought about it, this is the time to think
start
about
thinking about. We have BKO back on the line. BKO, I need you to land on your thoughts here.
Yes, I made the point that neither of the two dominant religions in our country can wipe out the other. So
Okay.
Trump and co should stop thinking that there is a desire to exterminate Christians from our country. And bandit attacks are meant to make money. It's just the desire of those guys to make money. They are not triggered by any ideology.
at all.
A good number of them are animists. They are not Muslims, you know. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, so a good number of them are animists. They are not even Muslims, and they are not Christians. So, there is no desire, and no one can exterminate Christians from Nigeria. That is not going to happen.
Sure.
In a million years, it can't happen. So, but the pattern, these attacks, targeting Christian worship centers, we've seen it happen in Kogi. We've seen it happen in Kwara, usually along the border between Kwara and Kogi. And then we've seen it now happen in Kaduna State, in Kajuru, which is an area dominated by Christians. But it still doesn't mean that these attacks have religious correlation. It's just sheer opportunism on the part of the bandits. They've been targeting Christian clerics, they've been targeting Christian worship centers for so long because they know that ultimately ransom will be paid. And look at the idiots in Kogi who kidnapped the people at Ayetorokiri. They kept telling the residents, the traditional ruler, that look, we have no business with you, it is government. We want to talk to government because they believe that government will bring out the money and ransom will be paid, hefty ransom will be paid. So this is the thing. They know that once government gets involved, hefty ransom will be paid, either through third-party elements, but they believe that ransom will be paid. That's why when they do these things, when they go to attack schools, when they go to attack worship centers, they imagine that government will get involved because when there's so much outcry, government runs into panic mode and then they will find a way to negotiate. This is the reason they are carrying out these attacks. These attacks are not motivated by religion or religious differences. It's just an opportunity on their part to make money. And we are seeing attacks taking place in Sokoto and other places. Bello Tuji has active cells in Sokoto. Is actually from Zamfara. It's from Shinkafi local government in Zamfara. But he's very active in Sokoto state. And in Sokoto, where he's very active, the bulk of his victims are Muslims. An overwhelming majority of his victims are Muslims. We are seeing bandits moving now from Katsina into Kano that have been relatively peaceful. They are moving into border towns. The borders between Katsina and Kano. They are moving into Kano now. And who are the people that they are kidnapping? It is the Muslim. So I understand the concern of the Americans. It is valid. Christian communities, just like Muslim communities, need to be protected.
Yes.
But these guys also target remote communities. It is impossible to put soldiers on ground in every corner of our country. No. It's just not practicable. No. Even the largest army in the world cannot protect every inch or every blade of grass in their country. So this is the thing. They deliberately target this area because they want to carry out their operations without resistance. And they know that it is in those remote communities where you don't have police stations, where there is little or no presence of government, that they can get away with this kind of attacks. So it is unfortunate, but it reinforces the need for our government to come up with a strategy. I just read now that there may be an all-out war against these people. We don't need to tell them. This is what I've talked about for years. There's no solution to this than a total war. A total war that kills them to the last man. What are we talking about? We've seen it done. It was done in Sri Lanka. It was done in Algeria. They crushed them. We know where their elders are. I personally have interviewed bandits at least on 2 occasions. People will remember the videos. I still interview bandits in January last year in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State. So if as a person, as a journalist, I know where bandits hibernate, where they stay, how can anybody highly placed in Nigerian security not know where they are?
Okay.
So it's a total war that we want. We don't want stories. It's a total war. We take the battle to them, we annihilate them. They are not bigger than the states. No man can be bigger than the state.
Yes. Okay, BK, I mean, just a last take. But can we realistically, win this fight against insecurity without state?
Well, at the risk of saying a total no or yes, I think we need people who understand every terrain. When we talk of state police, it should not. We are not talking of a state police that is made up of only indigents.
Okay.
State police means people who live in those communities. For instance, if you talk of state police in Lagos now, it does not mean it has to be only Lagosians or Southwesterners. No. It means that there are people who have been, in Agege, for instance, there are people there who have been born there who have been there for 40 years. They were born there, they grew up there, and now you say state police, you say you will not recruit such a person. No, that's not. People should not misunderstand what we mean by state police. State police means that you, in the community where you live, where you understand the terrain, this is what it will be. I don't think we can succeed without having
state
police. But at the same time, we also need people who on the community will also need to give information.
Okay.
The police now need to build confidence of people. Because when you have a state police and we have the same thing that we have now,
yes,
because there are some cases that in some community, this man is a criminal. But you are afraid to report to the police because if you go and report, the police, somebody will tell him that it was all that came and told us you are.
Okay.
So,
all right, gentlemen.
They need to rebuild the confidence of the populace.
All right, then.
Nigerian government with the goal of protecting Christians and their right to practice their faith freely and safely. We call for the government to work with local authorities to find and secure the release of the innocent victims, and to work with NGOs to meet the victims' families' needs in the meantime. Advancing religious freedom and security will help the United States and Nigeria to enhance the reciprocal benefits of our relationship, solidifying trade and economic deals, degrading terrorist groups that threaten our interests, and strengthening health responses, among many other areas. We also hope to identify ways to return internally displaced persons to communities from which they were expelled in the North Central states, and interdict weapons and funding going to terrorist groups, and expand investigations and ensure prosecution, as you said, Mr. National Security Advisor, of individuals and groups committing atrocities. I very much look forward to our working group sessions today and to seeing Nigeria continue to take active, sustained steps to promote and protect freedom of religion or belief for all, and to turn the tide on insecurity and terrorism. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity.
At the national level, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria has taken deliberate and decisive steps to confront insecurity. The President has formally declared national security emergencies in vulnerable and high-risk areas. Authorized intensive or intensified joint operations and directed to sustain the deployment of security forces to priority locations, particularly those communities experiencing recurrent attacks for civilians and religious groups, vulnerable communities. These directives have been matched with concrete action. Nigeria is expanding early warning and rapid response mechanisms, developing a national database to serve as a single authoritative source of accurate and verifiable data on death and casualties arising from violence. Doing it for the first time. This effort will strengthen evidence-based decision-making, accountability, and the effectiveness of security responses. Parallel to this, investigation and prosecutions related to attacks on various communities have been intensified to ensure that violence is met not only with force, but with justice and accountability. Nigeria is a deeply plural society, as you can see. And the protection of all citizens, Christians, Muslims, and those of other beliefs, and they have them, is non-negotiable. Violence framed along religious lines is treated as an attack on the Nigerian state itself. Our response, therefore, integrates security operations, rule of law, humanitarian safeguards, and strategic communication, ensuring that operational successes translate into public confidence and strengthen our social cohesion. We want Nigerians to acknowledge, we want Nigerians to know that this partnership is working, and they are getting the message. Extremely important for all of us. That is delivering tangible gains, and that our collective efforts will continue to yield positive gains. The United States is doing an amazing, exceptional work in Africa. This is the beginning of it. We are changing lives. We are saving lives. We are making people comfortable, getting back their lives. And we want to thank you for that, genuinely. The entire country, from its leadership to our people. In assessing these efforts, it is important that progress is measured, not by isolated instances within a complex security environment, but rather on the overall direction of travel. The decision taken at the highest level of government and the institutional capacity being built to prevent, respond to, and punish violence wherever it occurs, Nigeria believes that this is the most responsible and credible basis for partnership and evaluation that can last for a long, long time. We also recognize that our partnership with the United States extends well beyond security cooperation. It encompasses democratic resilience, respect for the rule of law, regional stability in West Africa, and a shared determination to prevent extremism and malign actors from exploiting governance gaps or social fractures. As we proceed with today's deliberations, Nigeria welcomes frank and constructive dialogue. We are open to refining approaches, strengthening cooperation, and ensuring that this working group remains focused on outcomes rather than levels, trajectory rather than snapshots, and partnership rather than perception. We come to this table confident in the progress achieved since November 2025, committed to doing more, and resolved to work with our US partners to deliver credible security, credible justice, and lasting protection for all communities. Finally, I wish to extend my sincere and special appreciation to President Donald Trump for his steadfast and unalloyed support for Nigeria, like never before, as well as to his dedicated appointees, whose leadership has been instrumental in advancing our partnership. Secretary Ribadu, Secretary of War, Pete Excellent, and Charge Affairs, Mr. Keith. I also wish to extend my sincere appreciation to the members and leadership of the two communications delegations that visited us, including Representative Mario Rafael Diaz and David Hazinger, for taking the pain to visit Nigeria and indeed even going to these areas. And they saw you yourself. Make impact. Please tell them. People really appreciate that. The short concern, set direct commitment, and this is the spirit of America, going to help those who are in need of help. People are grateful for that. Similarly, I express deepest gratitude to Senator Ted Cruz for giving us audience, Representative Raleigh, Brian Mast, Christopher Smith, Sarah Jacobs, Dalton Jackson, Paula White, and Andrew Becker for opening their doors to the Nigerian team during the November 2025. It was extremely heartwarming. We were welcomed, we were treated with respect and dignity. We were given audience, and we were given a chance for us to explain, and it made impact. All those who we met in Washington, please, our own gratitude to them for giving us that chance. I also wish to acknowledge the entire U.S. mission in Nigeria, wonderful people who have been working, even before now. They made us to be better. Their continuous engagement, helping us on every step and direction for us to continue to improve our own way of doing things. We have very hard working set of people in the mission here. We want to thank them, their professionalism and the commitment to deepening the bonds between the two nations. Nigeria values this partnership genuinely and we value it greatly. We hold America with the highest esteem. We respect the country. We have learned a lot from the country. And we are learning from the best. And we are very comfortable where we find ourselves. We're not going to shift. We know what is good for us, and we are staying there. And we look forward to further strengthening our cooperation in the spirit of mutual respect, which you have been according us, shared purpose, and enduring friendship. I want to once again thank you all, and I look forward to our discussion. Thank you very much.
Well, let me say that this is still a work in progress. We are working continuously with our U.S. partners. You have heard that these strikes were coordinated together with the Nigerian security agents and armed forces, and they are working together to ensure that we have a very comprehensive evaluation of this, and details of that will continue to be made available to the press.
You're all aware that recent attacks on vulnerable communities, especially in the Middle Belt, has attracted widespread condemnation, both locally and internationally. The government and the people of Nigeria condemn these attacks in the strongest possible terms. These attacks have led to mass killings and abduction of civilians. We find this unacceptable, and we condemn it. We have the opportunity offered by the United States, our partner, to help us, to deepen their partnership with us, to address the challenges and find a lasting solution to the problems and restore peace in the affected communities. And we are taking advantage of this offer to ensure that the vulnerable communities in Nigeria are well protected. What we are having here today is the first joint working group of the United States and Nigeria on how to address the challenges of mass killing and abduction of innocent civilians in our vulnerable communities. So thank you.
Thank you. I think we've...
Donald Trump's stroke in Sokoto. Is Sokoto significant?
Well, people have argued that not West is the most significant area. So, we are not privy to his calculation, but we can guess. First, power creates signals and symbolism that I stay on the Gulf of Guinea. I'm not even close to Nigeria, and I can attack you. That's symbolism. That's a signal that when I'm ready to go anywhere, you cannot stop me. Second, and this is a very painful analysis, we're not sure that the federal government was telling the truth when it said it knew about it. They said they collaborated, but they made a small mistake, which is that they have intelligence. If the Tinubu government has intelligence, why couldn't he use it himself?
Perhaps he doesn't have the precision weapons to do that.
Well, he has an army. He can move an army.
He doesn't want to move a ground force in there. Be fire for fire.
Well, that is his country. Because once you have once you say you have the intelligence.
I'm just thinking aloud.
Yeah, if you have the intelligence, your intelligence will tell you how strong the army is. It can be stronger than the Nigerian army. But and Tinubu may say, okay, if Trump is doing my job for me, why will he not be grateful? Because if it's true that he's also looking for those people and somebody helps you to destroy them, you play a double game. You remember he has not criticized Trump for doing that. He
has been strategically silent.
It's deliberate. I did a TV interview on it in which everybody was saying, this is your sovereignty being encroached upon. But he's silent. Which means, well, I know Trump will collect his money back secretly. He's a transactional leader. I mean, the materials will run into millions of dollars that he used. You and I will not know when the Tinubu government pays for that, but he will collect his money.
Is Trump done with Nigeria?
We don't know that. We don't know that because he may strike again.
What does he want?
He wants resources. By now, they'll be behind the door negotiations that you and I are not aware.
Nigerians are saying he can come take it, that even our leaders have not used the resources for the benefit of the people.
Well, that is one argument which raises suffering. Call this sovereignty. Sovereignty against sovereignty. So if people are suffering, do they care about sovereignty? Which is exactly what you are saying. That if you are not using the resources to solve the issues of poverty, what does it matter? Some people are saying, don't let us talk about the sovereignty argument. Let us talk about the crisis, the insecurity, and the suffering, which are two separate arguments.
Will bombing Sokoto solve the problem of banditry? Because they are still hitting, they are everywhere.
Oh, and they demonstrated their capacity just a few days ago, just going to an open market, killed 35, 36 people, and carried the rest away. So it has not solved the problem. So we are not party to what the federal government and the US government are talking about, because this will be security of confidential nature.
Is Trump interested in 2027 election in Nigeria?
I don't see the evidence, but I hear the gossip.
What do you hear?
The gossip coming from different sectors. One, first of all, there is a rumor of the coup. And the rumor of the coup, people are saying there is the Chinese that leaked it. I have no evidence. That's why I'm calling it a rumor, that it will have been dead on October 1st. That's a gossip. That coup was intended to assassinate him. I have no evidence. That's just a gossip. But they keep telling us the investigation is ongoing. And they've released names, including that of a former governor, a minister. But they have not told us anything. And we don't know the conclusion. And there is a Biafran wing that also formed the lobby saying, Trump, come. That aspect is there. And we do not know. Members of the caliphate are also not happy with Tinubu. And they have made it clear that they're not happy with him because of the nature of appointments, because he's a monopolist that does not like to share power. He wants to concentrate power, which is a gossip about removing Shetima. And if you look at the duties in Lagos, there are two major sources of revenues: customs in Lagos and oil in Niger Delta. Anchored to the NPC, the North is saying that they have been controlled by Yoruba people.
But they controlled it in Buhari's time.
But in politics, you don't talk about the past. You talk about what we are losing at the moment. And they are saying, bear in mind, many Nigerian politicians have no business. They don't. You understand? So when they're out of power, you are also saying they should become broke. And they are not going to accept being broke.
You just talked about the Biafran lobbyists. Who are these people?
Well, but they have never gone away. The most articulate is Kano, who is very clear. Kano is very clear. It's an insurgency. So you have the Niger Delta insurgency, you have the Ududua Republic insurgency, you have the Fulani insurgency, and people have said, why focus on him? Why just focus on Kanu if there are other people? Why are you kind to the Niger Delta insurgents and you're not kind to him? Why do you call for the integration of Boko Haram elements into the army and police? That they're basically doing the same thing. Why do you focus on him? That's one. Because he doesn't speak for himself, remember. He speaks for a larger number of people. You may not agree with his rhetoric, you may disagree with his style, but he's not just speaking for himself. So, you know, the civil war ended, but it doesn't mean that the idea has ended. The idea has never ended. To those who did not suffer from that war, they don't understand trauma and memory. Because it's the only region in Nigeria that underwent that trauma. And you have to be fair to them. They remain traumatized. And what that war said is, look, we don't know whether they're going to kill us again. They are not giving us presidential power, and they are making us second-class citizens. So they have to create pressure groups. And part of that pressure group is not just domestic, it's also manifested in other countries.
It's international.
Yes, the lobby. They are part of the lobby that says Muslims are persecuting us, which is not new. You could say the same thing.
Yes, if you even read that declaration.
He said it, that this is genocide. So, the number we may be exaggerating, the effect may be exaggerating, but you have to include them among the lobby talking to American Christian fundamentalists.
And now that Trump has come, will he help them?
So there's a joke. If he wants to help them, why can't he give them asylum? Why is he giving Afrikaner asylum in South Africa? So they say, if you love the Christians a lot, why don't you say 1 million? I will let you live in US. So some people are criticizing him for that. But as I said previously, you have to also look at his domestic politics, in which Christian fundamentalists are also part of MAGA. So it's a base that he also has to satisfy.
Do you see the US government supporting a Christian presidential candidate in the 2027 election?
They may not frame it that way. They may not frame it that way. Remember, Jonathan is of the belief that the US government was part of those who made it possible for him to lose power.
He's not happy with Obama.
Yes. He said it. Some people say they have the proof. Some people say they don't have the proof. But for a transactional politician like Tinubu, that game may be very complex. Because like both of Trump and Tinubu are dealers. These are political dealers. Very astute in their game. Because the way Tinubu may say, Mr. Trump, what do you want? And as a transactional politician, he can give it. So, Tinubu is not like Buhari. Buhari may be a bad manager, or he wasn't as transactional as Tinubu. Tinubu is a kind of president with you on gold in Samfara. Let's talk about it. And that's how transactional politicians behave.
And Trump likes that.
Yeah, both of them share that in common.
Nicolas Maduro did not understand him.
he did, but because, you know, he kept saying, let us reduce the price of petrol. Let's negotiate. But he wanted more. He wanted to take over the entire thing.
So guys, let me quickly take you through these reactions from Nigerians. This person here says, this is coming after the US urges the Tinubu's government to intensify efforts in protecting Christians. This address was made, I believe, before the kidnapping that happened in Southern Kaduna and the killing. This was $9 million US being spent in Washington, D.C. by Nigeria recently, has exposed them again. Observers describe it as a deliberate, systemic, and politically motivated hatred Nigerian government has towards the Igbos. This has contributed more why Igbos will continue to seek for Biafra exit. Another person here saying Nigeria is a hell. It's a hell, lawless country. Fulani jihadists everywhere, working with Nigerian army, killing and buying people, innocent Biafran Christians. But Elohim Chukwu Kiabiama is about to disgrace them, divide Nigeria. So these are what Nigerians are saying. This place, America sounds stupid if they are still believing that Nigerian government can do anything about the killing of Christians in Nigeria. And this other person say, you are telling the person prosecuting Christians to protect them. Divide the country. Divide the useless country if you really want to help Christians, APCs and Islamic organization. And this person said they are rehabilitating Boko Haram insurgents this week. For a president that doesn't believe in one Nigeria, won't stress himself to protecting lives. They are rehabilitating Boko Haram. I don't know of this week. This person said this meeting no even be about religion or security, now about narrative. Once foreign government, they public instruct your country on how to protect one group of citizens, it means your internal reporting intelligence, credibility, and diplomatic voice don't collapse. So guys, these are reactions from Nigeria. Funny enough, the federal government delegates all the same Fulani people. Funny enough, the federal government delegates are the same Fulani people. They are the ones discussing Christian protection before the American government. This is the hypocrisy of the Tinubu government. I mean, the Fulanis discuss the security of Nigerians, and that is the thing. That is the main problem. You know, this person, all they have become audio lately. This person said, the Americans know Nigeria cannot do anything. The more I watch Nigeria, the more convinced I am that this was a setup by Americans. Tinubu is actually a move. He might be even be a disposal move. So guys, I don't know what you think of this. This is sensitive, and this is a serious and sensitive development. If the US is calling for increased protection of Christians, it reflects ongoing concern about security and religion violence in Nigeria. The US government, okay. So, but let me know what you think about this. People are just sharing their mind about the US telling the Tinubu's government to protect Christians. What do you think about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Naija Voice TV. Stay tuned for latest updates.